Well, hey there, neighbor. It's me, Angie. Come on in, neighbor. How are y'all doing? Well, as you can see, I'm sitting outside waiting on you to drive up because I've been MIA for a few days. I've been missing in action. I don't know if you noticed or not, and that's fine if you didn't, but if you did, thank you. We've had our granddaughter for the last, let's say, Thursday through Monday, which was awesome. She's a blessing, and she has me wrapped around her little finger, and she's my heart, and I could just go on and on, but I won't. She stayed with us. We picked her up Thursday, and James took her to meet our son yesterday because I was so exhausted from having her those days. She is so cute. She loves her pop, but I think her Gigi is the number one. And I don't know if it's because I'm in a wheelchair and she loves to ride around with me in the wheelchair, or if she just loves her Gigi. I hope it's the latter, that she just loves her Gigi, but we'll find out. She would she would want me when she was tired and wanted to go to sleep. When someone come by to visit her, she'd run to me. I have to go down our hall and turn around and come back up to the living room if I go down and go into one of the rooms. And when I would turn around at the end of our hall and go back up the hall, she would come running toward me with her hands open to say, "Take me, Gigi, take me." And y'all, the feeling that I would get when she would just reach out to me and want me to hold her, oh my goodness, it was nothing like it. And I would pick her up and she would smile and she would just be so happy that her Gigi picked her up. Well, I think mostly, neighbor, what we're going to talk about today is how people make you feel. Now, that little child never knew what an impact that she had or has on me as far as being able to change my mood, change the way I see the world, makes me feel loved, makes me feel helpful, needed, and we all want that. I mean, at least I do. But when you go into a crowd of people, or let's just say a chat, because that's what I'm familiar with, because I don't get around crowds of people anymore because I don't get out that much. But when I go into a chat, I want to be like my granddaughter was doing coming down the hall. She was holding her hands wide open like, "Take me, Gigi, take me." And and when we enter a chat and on a YouTube channel, we want to be, because we're reaching out to that channel, we want that channel to say, "Well, come on in. How are you? Are you doing okay today? We're glad you're here." Because, if you think about it, that person could have been anywhere else in the world and they chose to be at your live, at your channel. Or when they watch your videos, they've taken anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes of their day that they'll never get back in their entire life to watch your video. Now, I feel like the least I can do is accept them, appreciate them, care for them, welcome them in, which that's what I want to do always anyway. Like I've said over and over again, I'm a very inclusive channel. I want you to come into my chat. I want you to say hello, and I'll say it again. If you come into my live chat and I don't speak to you, you put up those stop signs like, "Hello, hello, I'm here." Because I could get to running this, as you all know, and I would never even notice you were there or realize you were there. I don't want to say notice. Realize that you had walked in the door or rang the doorbell. Because that's what I like to say when you come to my house. Just ring that doorbell and come on in, neighbor. And that's what I want you to feel like. Now, I'm sitting out in the yard today, and it's like 91 degrees, and even though I'm in shade, I mean, I'm warming up the longer that I sit out here, but I wanted to come out today in this nice weather because I felt like what I wanted to talk about was about brightness, about positivity, about joy. And I know everybody like, Angie, all you do is talk about positivity and joy and happiness, but there is sadness in the world, and there are trials and tribulations that we go through. Well, do you think I'm naive to that? Of course not. I'm not naive to that. We all have trials and tribulations that we deal with, and some of us more than others. And that's what I'm talking about welcoming somebody into your chat. You don't know what that person is dealing with or has dealt with. Now, here's the thing. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes of a lot of channels. I mean, we don't know the communication between one person in the chat and the channel owner or other people. I mean, I don't know a lot of the stuff that goes on. And, you know, I always say what people are saying about me is none of my business. And I live a happier life that way. Now, some people want to be included more than other people. Now, I've always been one of those people. If you want me, I want you, and I want to be a part of who you are, and I want you to be a part of who I am. But if you don't want me to be a part of who you are, you know, be bold enough to share that with me. And I can say, okay, I won't bother you anymore. Because you know what? There are so many other people over here that will accept you and want you and need you and love your ideas and love to think about what you say. And why would you want to stay somewhere where you knew or know that somebody doesn't want you there? Now, if you ever think I don't want you in my channel or in my lives or anywhere near my YouTube channel, ask me. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm old enough to say, look, we just have this personality conflict. I don't know what it is, which normally I've never had to do that with anyone on YouTube. Now, to be honest with you, I have had to block one person. And it's not that I'm still upset with that person. It's just, and I've forgiven that person. I don't think about it on a daily basis. They've gone on with their whatever they do in YouTube, and I've had mine, and I pray for that person every day. But, you know, being called a liar is not a fun thing. But that's enough said about that. But nobody wants to be called a name, you know, a liar, a thief, untrustworthy, mean, vindictive, harsh, and nobody wants to be treated that way. Now, if you have that much anger inside you that you feel like you have to lash out to people, you know, hurting people hurt others. Now, I've dealt with several people that had a lot of anger issues, and it's because they were hurting so bad on the inside. People had hurt them over the years, and they didn't really know how to contain how they felt when it come to somebody attacking them, or they thought that person was attacking them. And sometimes that's not even the case. But what I want to say to you, neighbor, is I care about each and every one of you. I want you to know that. Now you might say, well, Angie, how is that possible? You know, honestly, I just don't know what to tell you, except I do. When you hurt, I hurt. When you all have disagreements, I hurt. Because I don't want that. It's like my family is tearing apart. Because to me, my YouTube is part of my family. And I'm not going to choose sides on anything. And you say, well, you're riding the fence. Now, I'm not going to say that I agree. I may agree with one side more than the other. But the disagreement is between the two people that are having it. Now, if I'm ever asked how did you think about this person doing this or whatever? I may tell you, but that doesn't mean that I don't care for that person, because you can still care for somebody and not agree with them. You know, I've said this before on my channel. James's grandmother gave James and I the best advice ever when we got married. She sat us down at her kitchen table and she said, I just want to tell you both something. You have to have a misunderstanding to get to an understanding. And that has stayed with me over the last 35 years, especially when James and I don't agree on things. And believe it or not, that's happened. And it's happened quite often in the past. But here lately, as long as we've been married, it's like, okay, let's just not sweat over the small stuff. And he and I don't normally have a disagreement. I always said if he and I had never had children, we would have probably never had a disagreement anyway. But when you have children brought into a marriage, that can be a big impact on a marriage. And don't ever think that you want to have a child to save a relationship, because that does not happen. And if it does, please let me know how that works out. But I'm here to tell you, neighbor, when I come on here and speak with you all and say, come on over to my house, and I say, you know, you're driving up, you're visiting me, you don't know how that makes me feel on the inside. I mean, each and every one of you have different personalities. Of course, all of us can't get along every single time we get together or at any time. We're going to have disagreements. We're going to have misunderstandings. But at the end of the day, let's let love conquer all. And you say, Angie, you don't know what this person did to me. You don't know what they said to me, what they accused me of, what all was said. There can be things said in anger that the very next day you wished you had never said. Because in the heat of the moment, you say things, and I know out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And whatever's in there is going to come out. But when you're pushed to the limit sometimes, you have to let it come out. And some people just become the sounding board. It's not necessarily toward that person. It's just they are there to get the brunt of how that person feels. And that's how people get hurt. Now, after everybody calms down, realizes that everything has exploded, imploded, and everything's laying around, and now you got to go pick the pieces up. Well, how do you fix it? Well, number one, if you're a prayerful person, you have to pray about it. And you have to say, Lord, I'm so sorry that happened. And then you have to go to the people and you have to say, look, I'm human. I made a mistake. I got so upset about something and I didn't mean to. And you know, people will respect that more than you realize. But I'm here to tell you, neighbor, I love each and every one of my subscribers. You make It's Me, Angie's channel. I mean, my whole personality, demeanor, has changed since I joined YouTube, because for a couple of years I was sitting here at home by myself most of the time with no one to talk to. And I'm a very social person. And I would just watch YouTube channels over and over again. And that's what kept me occupied. And then I decided, you know, I want to have a YouTube channel. I said that for 2 years. My family just laughed like, yeah, Mama. Yeah, okay. Because they didn't think I would ever do it. Not that they didn't think I could do it. They just thought I would never actually step out and do it. And then one day I did. And I've had the most support from James, my kids, my other family members that know about my YouTube channel. Some of them know how hard it is for me to talk about painful things, things that I've gone through, because I'm a very private person. If you watch my channel, you know I don't talk about my disease very much. Not that I'm ashamed of it or mad about it happening, but I want to be a upbeat, positive, encouraging channel to let you know no matter what situation you are in, you can go on. Now, I know a lot of people suffer from depression, and I have in the past, and it's very real. Don't misunderstand. I don't think that depression is real, because I do. But I just pray that you'll get the help you need if you're depressed. And sometimes just getting out into the world, in your yard, and start walking around and working with flowers and whatever your hobby is, just getting out will help that depression. And if it doesn't, seek help. Get something for that. And the last thing I want to say, please don't let anyone control you. Don't let someone else control how you feel, what you say. Especially don't let them control anything that has to do with your YouTube channel, telling you what you need to say, what subjects you should have on your channel, how you're supposed to act. I'm always to say, if you're mad, have your moment. Be mad. But once you have that moment, be over it and walk on, and don't hold on to it. Women are not like men. Women hold on to things for months and years, and they just won't let go. Now, men, what do? They'll go out in the parking lot, the yard, the driveway. They'll have a fist fight and get up and shake hands and move on. They don't give it a second thought. That's the difference between men and women. But I'm here to tell you, holding on to stuff is not healthy. It'll cause physical problems, mental issues, emotional. And you can't make someone say that they're sorry. And don't expect it. Just pray for that person if you are a prayerful person. If not, just say, okay, they were angry at the moment, and I've been angry before, and I've said things that I wished I had never said. And once it comes out of here, it's out there. It's just like you can't unknow something when you find out about it. And you cannot not see something once you've looked upon it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So be careful about what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you want to know. And understand that we're all human. We all want to be loved, liked. We all want to have friends. We all want to, which I've never wanted to be popular. I mean, some people absolutely want to be popular. I've never had that desire. I want to be respected. I want people to respect me. But if you don't like me, I can't make you like me no matter what I do, because you've already made your mind up. But when somebody walks into your channel and they're new, I mean, you have to give them that benefit of the doubt of, you and that person may become the best of friends. And if you have a problem with that person, there is a block button there. But you don't have to tell everybody about it. Just privately do what you need to do, like I did, and move on. Because let's not hurt each other. Let's not hurt each other anymore, neighbor. Let's embrace it, because, the world is not the same place as it was when we were teenagers or when we were young, when we could run free in our neighborhood and not have to come home until the street lights started coming on. Or we could leave our doors unlocked, or we could sleep with the windows or the doors open. It's not like that now. But we can all get together and decide we may not like each other, but we can have peace. We don't have to just keep stirring the pot. We don't have to lash out to each other. And we can just respect each other. And with that being said, neighbor, I'm going to say it once again. I love each and every one of you. And if you ever need me or need to talk or have a disagreement with anything that I've said, my email's in my About page. Email me. I would love to hear from you. But until we meet again, neighbor, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to ring that doorbell, because when that doorbell rings, that tells you that I have another video or I want you to come over. I've invited you, and that's the thing you do when you get here. You ring that doorbell. We have lemonade, tea, cranberry juice, and you can bring your own drink, your own snack. But until we have another conversation, neighbor, bye.